I'll tell you guys this. It is going to be shocking. We're going to talk a little bit about my vacation. Hey, welcome to the Unnamed Cybersecurity Podcast. I was not here last week, and yeah, I meant to be, but I had quite an interesting vacation. And we're just going to entertain everybody by talking about this. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but the island I flew to only has one flight that leaves every single day. So when it takes the airline that you're flying on an hour and 20 minutes to load your bags out of Detroit and you miss the connection in Atlanta, read between the lines of what airline that would be. You get stuck in Atlanta for a day. You lose out on an entire day of being at said island that you wanted to go to. Ouch. And then what do? They rebook you on the next flight for the next day at a lower fare class than what you paid for, and they don't offer you a refund.
Uh-oh.
And that was even Budapest.
Yeah.
I thought Budapest was taking care of that.
I apparently have to have a conversation with them to do that. And so not exactly happy about that. And then by the way, the same airline had my check bag for a day and somehow didn't get it on the plane.
Oh no.
So then we didn't get so we were supposed to fly out on Thursday. We flew out on Thursday. We got stuck in Atlanta until Friday. Flew out Friday. I got my check bag at Saturday at 8:00 at night. Yeah. All my snorkel gear, my sandals, my swimsuit, all that stuff in the check bag. Luckily, Angie and I both had carry-on, so we had clothes with us. But if we wouldn't have, so PSA for everybody out there, don't ever fly an airline to an island without having carry-ons that have clothes in it. Just saying.
Good thing, keep skivvies in your carry-on.
Yeah. And, just living the dream. Anyway, had fun. Went diving.
I'm sure you had fun in Atlanta for 24 hours.
Yeah. I was stuck at a hotel.
I hear we talk about cybersecurity here too.
Yeah, this is talking about security because I didn't go ape shit on people at the airport, which I probably had every right to do because of how we got treated. But anyway,
Anyway, welcome back, Chris.
Yeah, thanks. Also,
Yes,
physical security on my way back, I had to empty my bags and get patted down in front of the entire line, trying to board my plane because I got randomly selected for additional screening.
Actually, I think that used to be Matt in Nashville when he had those special jeans.
I like my special jeans.
What
He
did
had
you have in
jeans.
your special
I think it was you, wasn't it, Matt? That had baggy jeans that kept getting triggered.
Got violated. Yeah.
They have like metal in them or something. You'd walk through and like something.
It just said molest me. Apparently, like I threw them out. I think I actually threw them out before I flew home because I got it like every time I wore them.
To be fair, it's not if it's the TSA. The molesting part. Sorry. Anyway, mine was a foreign agent. I was in a foreign country. Mine was a foreign agent. Utmost respect to foreign agents. I'm not getting trapped in a country and arrested and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's good to be back. Sorry I missed last week. Did I miss anything? Microsoft outage? Oops.
That was a little outage. Well, last week we talked about a credit card processing fraud that happened where we had a client that had 500 transactions. Today, she just got $1,000 bill from the credit card company for transaction fees, which got waived.
Jeez.
I mean, that sounds like a worse day than I had. Mine just was cumulative over a few days. I hear. So to be fair, I wanted to drink some Stoli vodka. Not really, but since we're going to talk about cybersecurity, if you haven't seen, Stoli filed bankruptcy today, Chapter 11 bankruptcy. But the reason behind it was kind of odd. They've been under a cyber attack for 2 months. 2 months. They've been doing manual. Apparently, they got hit so bad that they've had manual processes for 2 months while they're trying to rebuild their entire infrastructure.
Yeah, I saw that message. Like their whole ERP system has been hacked.
Yeah,
compromised.
So they don't know who owes them money, who they owe money. I mean, that's big.
So
Well,
That's
they're
a
filing
manufacturer.
Chapter 11 now because of all this.
It's crazy. I mean,
I mean, the
it's
article I
probably-
saw said that they filed Chapter 11 to help them reorganize and come out of this with some dates on the other thing. And I posted it on LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
Danny Aston reached out and said, "Yeah, LinkedIn bankruptcy is a great protection for businesses." I was like, "Yeah, but is it a great protection for businesses that have a cyber issue?"
Well, it looks like it's tied to not just the cyber part. Like they've had, obviously, the Russian heritage has played a part of this because apparently a couple of the people have been like put on like some Russian anti-Russian thing or something like that by Russia. So apparently they're in a legal battle with the Russian government.
Ooh,
Oh yeah, they have to spend. I don't know why they would put this, but quote, spend dozens of millions of dollars on the long-term court battle across the globe with the Russian authorities. Who says dozens of millions?
Tens of millions, I hear. Dozens of millions.
Dozens of millions? Okay.
Is this a real story, or is this being like sent out by a bot when you do dozens of millions?
This was actually the quote from the company. So probably, I'm guessing the person who said it probably English wasn't the first language, but whatever.
It sounds like the Nigerian Prince scam is what got them.
Well, they say they have $50 to $100 million in liabilities, but I don't see how many assets they have. Which, if they're filed for Chapter 11, probably means less than that as far as assets. So, this is the first one I've seen completely from that large of a company have to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy. We've seen other ones that just went Chapter 7 where they just failed. Or right, there's a paper company. I think it was a paper company in like Colorado. They just bought by private equity. It was years ago now, and they went out of business because they hit with cyber tech so bad that basically the private equity was just like pulled the money. Like they lost the money, and they just said close the business because it wasn't worth trying to recover. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. Just going down this road, have you guys ever had logs lost before? Like by a vendor? By a vendor?
I bet there's a story there.
I had a hard time getting logs last week.
Yeah,
we got them.
Sounds like you have a tale of woe to tell, Chris.
I have so many tales. So Cloudflare apparently lost 55% of their logs for customers for 3.5 hours. Here's the wild thing. Cloudflare every single day does 50 trillion customer event logs.
50
trillion events.
Wow.
They lost 3.5 hours.
That's a lot of logs.
3.5 trillion logs. You're not putting that on a thumb drive.
Oh, big enough thumb drive. But that reminded me of another story where I was dealing with a backup vendor, cloud-based, with a customer. We're co-managing this account, and they were backing up their Microsoft 365 emails, SharePoint, stuff like that. Everybody should do that. And somehow the backup set got changed, and a lot of mailboxes were removed from the backup set. The company I'm using somehow doesn't have audit logs for that period. So here's the problem, and this is a lesson to learn by everybody. Availability is so critical for things. Backing up things is critical. If somebody changes a backup set that removes Office 360, removes like accounts from a backup system, do you think the backup is going to tell you that the backup was successful or failed?
It's successful.
Successful. There was nothing to back up.
Exactly. So
100% right.
Unless you're doing manual checks, guess what you miss for a period of time? Backing up certain accounts. And then, so you rely on audit logs. You're like, okay, who did this? And when the company says, oh, we don't have the audit logs for that, you're like, cool, could you find them? And we are now on week 8, I think, of trying to get those audit logs. And we finally got told that they don't exist.
I was going to say, you're not getting them if you're not by now.
So let this be a lesson to everybody. If you're backing things up, check to make sure the backups weren't changed, because backups will, if somebody just removes stuff from a backup, it'll just say it's successful.
Trust but verify, right? We get automated
I don't even know.
everything.
I think don't trust but verify is what you should go.
But verify at least every quarter is what I'm trying to say. Manually.
Yeah, I think there should be a check there, maybe monthly. Quarterly, absolutely, but I'm thinking more monthly because, like, you know, how much data could you lose? Like, if you missed that and it happened, is a month okay for email? Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, because
God help you if these backups are for compliance purposes.
True.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, usually with retention periods, at least at Microsoft or Google, a month, whatever, you could probably still recover, you know, with retention. But, like, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like, how do you not have the logs? So Cloudflare lost the logs. The company I deal with lost the logs. Microsoft lost logs, I think, in September. I think Microsoft lost some logs too for people. So,
well, not to woe is me or woe is us this, but I mean, our clients trust us to have this information and we trust vendors to make it work. And frankly, we're the ones that end up kind of, you know, getting stabbed by a stake sometimes because we're the middleman.
And when you have a co-managed situation, let's say, because I think we all have customers that are co-managed, where it means they have internal IT and we're helping them out. When you both have access to it, I would love to have the proof of who did the change.
Mm-hmm. It's very important.
Yeah, because what if somebody inside the company, either our company or theirs, just decided to be malicious and just change it? And you don't have any logs.
Incompetent.
What?
Or incompetent.
Well,
either one.
Incompetent, malicious, whatever. Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe it's just a mistake.
Error.
Right? But to not have the logs and say who did it, you know, now it's just pointing fingers and stuff like that. Luckily, nothing came about during all this. Like, we're good. We're missing some backups, but nothing bad. But, like, you know how it is. Like, usually when stuff like this happens, it's at the worst time, and then you need to get something back, and you can't.
Yeah.
So that's my lesson of the day. Double check your backups.
Because if you went to look for logs for any kind of situation and they weren't there, that would be a much, much bigger issue.
Yeah. And
like trying to use a fire extinguisher. Oop, it doesn't work.
What do you mean? What do you mean these things expired? What? Fire extinguishers expired? Huh? I saw one. That's funny. I saw one. What was it? 2 months ago. It was like 25 years old. Oh wait, you need to replace this. Like,
a little caked up in there, huh? If it was even charged at all.
We didn't even try it. I just looked at the date on it and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
So anyway, it's this week was we had Black Friday last week, Cyber Monday this week. How many people are getting compromised today from going to bogus sites?
I know of a company near me that is a rather large company that might sell cybersecurity stuff that showed up on a dark website last week for ransomware and mysteriously is gone today.
Whoops.
They're not on the site anymore. What does that tell you? Somebody paid ransom and got taken off the site. I'm not gonna say who. I'm not trying to go out and out people, but
wow. It's
a pretty large player in a space that you wouldn't want people to know that you're on that site. Let's just put it that way. And yeah.
Whoops.
I'm surprised it got. I'm surprised they even took it down.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen cases. You know, we saw the case we were looking at, and with that law firm that stayed there after they paid their ransom too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think not to give certain ransom gangs credit, some of them tend to
be more reputable.
They have more of a
QoS. They take pride in the quality of service and deliverables.
Let's be
honest.
honest.
Want to make sure that they're
well, and they got published.
Microsoft.
Yeah, well, they got published on 11/29, and they were only given till today to pay, They only given 3 days before publication, and they mysteriously disappeared today off the
Wow,
off the
someone's
website. So they paid. They 100% paid.
Cool.
And
Well, anyway, gentlemen, why don't we wrap this up? And next week we will be talking about something. I don't know what we're talking about because, but I'd love to hear comments from people about what they would like to hear. Is there something that we can explore as a group?
Yeah,
and go from there.
With the
I'm not
hive
gonna be
mind.
I'm not going to be traveling, so don't worry. You won't have any more travel warnings from me. So
Too bad.
yeah,
It's a shame.
Matt, you're being watched.
to give
I'm
you
very much so
give you a
being
teaser
watched.
for next. Oh yeah, look at that. To give you a teaser for next week,
Putting
though.
a post-it note on my door.
All right, next week, maybe we'll talk a little about passwords. There's a push for passwords to be changed as a new standard by NIST. Maybe we'll shed a little light on that next week. Sound good?
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
Sounds wonderful.
Awesome.
Nothing more exciting to the folks than some quality deep dives into NIST.
I would get my
I'm
name wrong.
I'm excited,
I'm
man.
saying-
Give me some NIST, baby.
Yeah. All right.
All right. See you
Have a good
Have a good week, guys.
Knocking.